Okay, so part 2 is the examples, and all we're going to do is simplify. I'm going to categorize them for you today, easy, medium, and hard. Okay, so we're going to do easy problems, very simple, and then gradually, then we don't get really hard, but just gradually speed up. So let's do cosine squared x plus sine squared x over secant x. Okay. So your eyes, okay, this is what they should be drawn to. It's two terms, and there's a plus in between, so they're being added, and they're both squared. So that's probably one of these. Do you see that one there? What can we trade it for? 1, right? This plus this is 1, so I can switch it out for 1. And that's what we'll do. So this is 1 secant. Easy peasy, right? That's what these tools do. You just switch out stuff. Now 1 over secant, that's not adding or subtracting, so I'm done with this tool bag, and I move over here now, right? What is 1 over secant? Cosine. So there we are, cosine. Okay, and that's the point of these problems. You start with something big, and it turns to something really nice. So when you're doing the simplified problems, and then you end up with something even bigger, that means you messed up, because they should come squished down. Make sense? Okay, let me let you try one of this category. Okay, so easy peasy. I'll try this one. Sine squared cosine squared x. Okay, so I'm surprised you haven't asked me yet, because the question's probably popping in your head right away, right? Can I use this one? Because it looks pretty close to it, but not exactly. So when you have this question, pardon my language, but dumb it down, okay, to something that you understand really simple. Let me show you what I mean. Because I do that all the time with hard problems. Everybody here knows what 2 plus 3 is.
Yes.
So the question you're asking to yourself is, does it matter if I switch those? So if I dumb it down to 2 plus 3, is that the same as 3 plus 2? Yeah, so I know that's true. Okay, that's true. I can switch them like that because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So it is the same thing. Okay, so you can. And I do that all the time with like harder problems. I just bring it down, something basic. Okay, so 1 over sine, right? It is 1. And 1 over sine is really just cosecant. CSC, cosecant. Yes, we're good? How many of you got it? Got that answer? Oh, nice, nice. Okay, good. If you didn't, don't worry. We're just practicing. Number 3. Which one should we do now? Let's do this one. So still easy, okay. Secant squared x. Okay, so you have multiplication involved and subtraction involved. So giving you my teacher glasses, this is where your eyes should be drawn, right? Because you're subtracting something, and it's a 1, and it's a square. So do you see that over there? What can we switch it for? Cosine. Okay. What is it, the second one? Yeah, it's the second one, right? So I can switch, so this stays the same, but I can switch this one for cosine squared x. Now when you're beginning, you're like, oh, those are both squared, so you start looking here. But remember, these are only add and subtract. That's not adding and subtracting, so that's not where you use that, right? So what do we do, guys? If I can't use these, That means I have to use those. What do you do when you have cosine and secant and stuff like that?
Change the secant.
You change them, right? You change them to cosine and sine. So just like yesterday, we leave cosine alone, but we switch secant. Okay, secant is 1 over cosine squared. Again, no sine squared, but it's the same if you put squared on it. It's the same thing. Okay, so cosine squared. What happens to these cosines?
They cancel.
They cancel. So what's our final answer? 1. Okay. Questions, guys? Ask me if you have a question. Good? Yes.
On the second step, how'd you get the cosine square again?
So this one right here, right?
Yeah.
It's this one. It's exactly the same thing, so I can switch it for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good question. Anybody else? Okay. It's really important. I haven't given you this analogy, but I love this analogy. Asking questions. I'm going to tell that to all my classes. When I was a student, I wanted to ask a question, but the minute that my mind told my body that I was about to ask a question, my heart would start beating, and I'd get nervous, and then I would just be quiet. I wouldn't ask nothing. But I like the analogy of a boat, right? If we're on a boat together, and we're all in here, all of us are in here, okay? And as long as we're learning together, we're on this boat together, okay? The minute you don't understand something, like something doesn't make sense in your head, that's like you fall off the boat, okay? But you're really close because you just fell off, so we can like still grab you and put you back in. That's when you ask a question. We help you out. Get back in the boat. But you stay quiet, and this boat gets further and further away from you. Once you get lost, you just keep getting lost and more lost. The problems get harder and harder and harder, and now you're way out, right? So now it's really hard to get you on the boat. What I'm trying to say, if you ask the question, it's really easy to fix it because it's right there. You're close by. So I know it takes bravery, but ask, okay? Ask. Okay, try this one. Okay. Still easy, okay, still in the easy realm. Okay, you guys, so what can we trade the top for? 1. Right, that one's right here. Where's that? Right here. And then what can we trade this for? Cosecant. How many of you got it right? Excellent, excellent. Back to my boat analogy. When I got to college, I realized, you know what? I'm never going to see most of these people again, because after high school I realized that I never saw people again. So I was like, why am I carrying what people think? In college I started asking questions. Maybe you can figure that out faster than me. What number are we on, guys? 5? 5. Okay, let's say this one's medium. I don't really know if it's medium, but let's see. Let's do it together. What can we switch the top for? Secant. I should number these, that way you can just say number whatever. Like secant squared. What can we trade the bottom one for? Cosecant. What do we do from here?
Break it down.
break it down. I like that word. Break it down to cosine and sine. So cosine. I'm going to change the category. I think this one's easy. I thought it was going to be more challenging, but it's just same stuff, right? Nothing really new about it. Break it down. And notice, I know I'm the teacher, so I know these, but if you learn those patterns, remember the S goes with the C goes with the S. That's why I don't have to look up there, because I know those are backwards. Hamburger. Hamburger in the middle. And who is that? 10. Okay. Yeah, so this one's still straightforward. I thought it was going to be something different. Are we good, guys? Question on that one? No? Anybody on the boat? Okay. Let's do 6. So this one I am going to categorize as medium, but only because I have to show you something. Once you know that something, it'd be an easy one. Okay, so sine squared x plus sine x plus cosine squared x minus 1. No, it should be all x. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. I'm guessing probably, if I was you, because that's what I've been telling you, that's probably where your eyes went. Do you see that up here? But is it exactly the same? No, it's backwards, right? Okay, so here, this is what we have on the board is 1 minus cosine. That equals sine. That looks very similar. Remember how we told you earlier, like bring it down, something simple we can understand. So the question we're asking is this: is 4 minus 1 the same as 1 minus 4? No, right? Because that one gives you 3, the bottom one gives you negative 3. So they're not the same thing. So I can't switch here. In the next problem I'm going to show you, we can do some math wizardy stuff to make it work. But right now, it doesn't work. So do you see anything else that might work? What do you think?
Sine squared x plus cos squared x.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're not, let me erase this. We're not comfortable doing that because they're out of place, but you know, we like those two, right? We like those two because, but they're together on here. So now let's bring it back down and see, can we put them together? So let's bring it down. The question you're asking is, can I switch these two, right? Because if I put this one here, then I can switch, right? So would this be true? Yeah. So you can do that. Okay, we can switch them. So we can put sine squared, cosine squared together, and just scoot sine over a little bit. So completely legal to switch places there. Okay. And now I will most certainly can change that for a 1. Okay. So 1 plus sine x minus 1. What happens to the 1s in this scenario? It cancels. So my final answer, sine x. Okay. So it's easy. You just have to know that you can do that. You can switch them in the order that you need to. If you're in doubt, just bring it down to something that you can understand. Mm-hmm. Question, guys? Okay, last one. Last one we do together. Number 5. I'm going to categorize this one as the hard one.
Number
7. I don't know why I said that. Mine are out of order. Thank you, though. Sine squared x minus cotangent x plus tangent x. It's not really too bad. It's just where we're starting. It looks like it's really hard. But You practice a little bit, and then this will be an easy one too. But just right now. So we have a minus, and then multiply, multiply. Okay, so when you do these, they don't come with labels, you're right. So we don't know if it's hard or simple. So what are we looking for? Probably, I would guess your eyes get drawn to this maybe, because that's what I've been teaching you, a square and a minus, right? Do we have anything that looks like that? Which ones? Co and the 10? Yeah, they will cancel. But right there, we don't find it yet, right? Like there's no sine minus cotangent, right? So we can't go straight here is what I'm trying to make a point. That we can go straight there. So we go do, when we can't do that, how did you say there? We break it down. Break it down. So we break it down to sine and cosine, okay? So let's do that. And they will cancel, but I'm gonna show you how. Okay, so cotangent becomes cosine over sine. Now, if you knew, right, and Josue did, cotangent and tangent are inverse of each other, so they cancel each other immediately because they're opposites. But I'm pretending like we didn't know that yet. So tangent is sine x over cosine x. Because if you break it down, you can't go wrong, no matter what. Okay, and all of this, cotangent is cosine over sine, and then that's just sine. So we have this giant burger, right? A lot going on. It looks difficult, but look how nice it is. This stuff starts to clean up really nice. Sine and sine cancel because one's on the top, one's on the bottom. Cosine and cosine, just like Jose told us, they cancel. Right? What about these signs? Yep. So even though they look really messy, a lot of stuff just starts to clean up. Okay, so let's see what we have left. Sine squared minus what? 1. That turns to a 1, right? It doesn't disappear. It's a 1 over cosine x. A lot nicer, right? A lot cleaner. So now the question is, can I switch this out? It's very close, right? But it's not exact. Okay, so what you're looking at now is up there, it says this, 1 minus sine squared equals cosine squared.
Where did you get the minus 1?
Because all these canceled, right? So they don't just disappear, but they turn to a 1 because you're dividing. Like cosine divided by cosine is 1.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Okay. So this is not identical, right? Okay. Does the order matter with subtraction? Yes. So I can't just switch. Okay, because remember 3 minus 4 is not the same as 4 by 3. So now let me show you some math wizardry, like just a little trick you can do with math. So let's rearrange first. On this one, the 1 is in the front and then the sign. So I'm going to move this to this side. Just so it looks like that. Okay, so negative 1 sine squared. What should I put? I forgot the extra. What should I put here, though, in between? Plus, because the sign is positive. You agree with that? Okay, over cosine. Okay, now you're really going to learn some stuff here, watch. It almost looks the same. But what's wrong with my signs, right? They're opposite of what I want. How do you switch signs? Like if you have something negative and you want it to be positive, what can you do to it to make it positive? Huh? You said it? Multiply by a negative or divide by a negative. It's equal. So I can do this, watch. I can divide both of these by a negative 1 or multiply both of them by negative 1. Okay, here's what happens. Now the thing is, you can't change numbers. You can just change the way they look. So I'm not changing what this is equivalent to. I'm just dividing by a negative 1. So that becomes positive, this becomes negative. But is it still the same thing if I were to put the negative 1 back in there? Yes. So it's not, I just made it look different. But it's still equivalent. That's why I can do that. But now, notice, now it does match. Okay, so I forced it to match by taking out a negative. But it's really important that you understand that negative has to stay because we introduced it, so it's still there. Is that okay or no? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so here we go. Don't worry, I know it's confusing. This is the first time we do that. Okay, but once you see it a couple times, it gets easy. And so now we just have -1 cosine squared x, right? Because we can switch that one for cosine squared x over cosine x. Remember, cosine squared x means cosine x, cosine x. It's two of them, right? So this one can cancel with one of the two. So I can take the 2 away because it cancels with one of the two. And so all that's left here is that -1 I took out cosine x. It's a more challenging problem. Remember, I labeled it hard. Okay, so right now it's harder, but it'll get easier once you do it. Okay, but right now it's okay if you're like, I can't do that by myself. Once you practice, you will. Okay, questions, guys? No? Okay.